Dillon from Thirst is one of the most legendary people that you're ever going to meet, and he's also the second ever episode of my Meet My Team series. The reason I order my Jimmy John's from him is because he's a Jimmy John's legend, and that's his background. And he's also just a management and entrepreneur legend. No question, this kid, everyone I feel like that is truly running this company with me, a.k.a. is passionate about its success and at any cost almost, is really entrepreneurial. And I think it's really, a lot of times it rubs off onto these people, but Dill, no question, came into it with this, as he'll tell you with his background here in a minute. But Dill, I want to get everyone to get to know you, and we'll talk about what your position is and what we got plans to do. But tell me a little background of where you're from, what you've been up to before this, and why I just ordered a beach club with no mayo, add pickle from you.
Yeah, for sure, man. I'm from St. George, which is great. I'm glad to be in Salt Lake, though. It's a much different environment. I'm 27, so I'm the oldest person at Thirst Drinks.
Are you?
Lisa would say she's older, but just because her birthday's before mine. But I'm by far the oldest person.
He's got me by a couple months.
Beans is a year younger, too.
Okay.
So I have 2 kids who are great and a wonderful, supportive wife, which whenever I tell my story, people are always, the first question is like, how's your wife? Like, she put up with a ton, which is great why we're here now, reaping the rewards of all of our trials.
When I think of Dill, literally, one of the first things that comes to my mind is, after Beach Club, is just gratitude, because this dude is sending it on with his position at Thirst and literally couldn't be more sold and committed. Why are you doing it? What are we up to? Like, what took you from Jimmy John's to here? What took you from, because you've had your own businesses, and Dill's started a bunch of different businesses, and we think very similarly, which has allowed us to click as we're trying to grow this business and the operations. But what was there a click moment, or what made you let's tell them how you originally came to Thirst. So tell the story of why you came to Thirst and where it came to from there.
I was a general manager at Jimmy John's for a couple of years, and I loved it. I love Jimmy John's. I love the whole organization. The owners up here are great. But I wanted to change. I didn't feel like I could be a GM for 10 years and making sandwiches. It's intense in there. Like, during lunch when everyone's hungry, there's moments where it's just you have to look straight and be like, take a deep breath.
More or less intense as a Mill Creek rush.
It's
or
way
downtown
more
rush.
Well, it's very different because, like, people make modifications to their sandwiches, but there's also a person outside with an iPad, like, taking the orders in advance.
So that makes it easier?
Makes it easier.
Okay.
I mean, people, like, when they modify their sandwiches where they have, like, 15 changes on it, we make them specific for
What's
them.
more intense, though, the drink modifications, the pretzel or the sandwich modifications?
Sandwiches.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right, fine.
Anyone can pour a drink. Not a lot. We don't let anyone touch a knife until they're, like, fully trained.
Until they're good.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways.
So, I had a friend from St. George just send me from St. George Eats.
But were you going to Thirst when you worked at Jimmy John's? Were you coming to our stores?
My wife was.
Or at least downtown.
I didn't really go get sodas.
You didn't do anything,
often,
but did you? All you do is work? Because all he does is work now.
So, like, when I'm
work and hang out with his family is what Dill does.
Well, before, like, when I was working at Jimmy John's, I always had something else going on.
Yeah.
Because I'm very.
You needed a hobby too.
It's not as much as I'm looking for greener grass. Is like, already. Like, have I ever said no?
Yeah.
Like, do you want to try this? I'm excited about it already.
Only person I've ever hired that wants to bite off equal or potentially even more things in the business when it means we're gonna have to work for it.
Because, like, I'm not the crunchiest chip in the bag, right? But as far as my motivation to just, like, get things done, like, it excites me to put more on my plate, basically. Yep. So yeah,
someone sent you the thing.
They sent me the thing, and underneath he said, "I'm sending this to you because you're the only person I know that would actually try it." You know, so honestly, we're looking for a GM in St. George.
So this is kind of brand new. I guess it doesn't even exist. Wetzel's powered by Thirst.
We didn't know what it was at all.
Oh, you didn't know. It was just Thirst is coming to St. George.
Because you guys were not announcing it yet. Yeah. So the ad was, we're looking for someone to be a GM in St. George. That's all it was.
That was on my personal Instagram story or something back in the day?
St. George Eats posted it.
Oh, okay.
St. George Eats posted that, so I messaged St. George Eats, and I was like, hey, I want to be as discreet about this as possible because I don't want Jimmy John's to think I'm trying to leave.
Yeah.
And she's like, that's fine. They want to be as discreet as possible as well.
Yeah.
So then I texted Alex. She sent me Alex's phone number, and I texted him, and then we met up.
And we were talking about him being the GM of our store that's being built in St. George, which is going to be a Wetzel's powered by Thirst. What was your initial take on Wetzel's and everything we're doing out there?
So after our meeting, I remember calling my wife, and I had to stop at a gas station. Yeah, met with you and Alex, and I stopped at a gas station, called my wife, and I was like, sounds great. It sounds like they're not going to be able to pay me near what I'm making right now. And she's like, well, do you want to do it? And I was like, I absolutely want to do it.
Why do you want to do it?
It was just after meeting with you and Alex, like two guys that were super excited to start something new.
Yeah. Do you feel like it's just like the excitement that's infectious, or is it like specific just the way we're pitching it? You know?
I think it's the excitement that's infectious.
Because I feel like I didn't even, I could have been way more grandiose and like, Dill, you got to get excited about this because of this and this. But I'm just excited about it in general. It doesn't take much.
I was excited to like take on a new opportunity, right? Like Jimmy John's is a franchise. There's nothing to change. It's ran really perfectly.
Yeah.
But like you guys are combining something and starting something from scratch, and then my ceiling rose just by talking to you guys.
Yeah. So anyways, first thing we did to go to Wetzel camp.
Yeah.
So we went to, Dillon was going to be the man, or is going to oversee all of the Wetzel stores too. And so we're like, all right, we got to get him trained. And you have to do a week-long Wetzel's Pretzels training course in California. So me, my business partner Alex, Rachel from Nut Thirst, Ryan from our Mill Creek store, and then now Dillon from Thirst, we trucked it out to California in a van. And Dill told us his whole life story on the way.
So it's longer than 10 minutes.
Yep.
For sure.
And we'll get to that on another episode. It will be explicit. No, I'm just kidding.
Absolutely. Gary V might be invited.
And we got to know each other really well. And then he was training up at our Mill Creek store. And I feel like stuff just started clicking. And I don't know. I would say the reason Dillon is in the position he is now, because what happened is he was training at our Mill Creek store. And then I was like, I need that. Not only do I need that on my team. The reason I think you're here today, Dill, is because, one, you are practical and ambitious, which is like two things that don't come together a lot. Like, are you in the stars, have these ideas, and they're never going to come to life because you don't actually know how to do anything in the real world? You're not a doer. Or do you just do and you're content with, and you're scared of like us being busy or opening too many stores or trying this new thing? Like, you don't find a lot of people that are practical and ambitious. And so that's definitely one of the reasons I was like, we need that more than anything. The other thing is, Dillon came to me and was like, you need me in this new position, by the way.
Yeah.
And I was like, no one, because it brings me into number 2, which is like, no one cares enough to like, about a business to like figure out something and propose it and pitch it and like, really see that to life. And that's what we needed at the time, and that's what we need right now. And Dillon's bringing a whole different scope of running a business to this. Like, think about my journey consists of lawn mowing to Christmas lighting to serving snow cones. So nothing food, and then serving snow cones, which was the first time you have to get like a health permit and pass things and stuff and have real employees and all this. But doesn't mean at this point still I know anything about the food industry at all, or how to manage and do things in that. Then I go to soda and cookies, which is almost like barely even a step above it. I really don't have experience in managing food industry at all, and combine that, us being very similar thinking, him being super ambitious, but also he's got a piece of this puzzle that I don't have, and I would either need to dive in all the way or find someone who's really good at it, and I did the latter. And so I'm super pumped to have you on the team.
I'm super pumped to be here.
You got some skills. Anything else we should talk about?
Well, I mean, just my point of view, like, that was great. It was very kind. The funny thing is, I wonder where we'd be right now if St. George got all the permits on time, or even the food truck was good, yeah. Because I was at Mill Creek longer than expected. Yeah. And one thing I noticed right away is like how awesome you are as a leader, like willing to sacrifice everything, even to the point where you're driving marinara to a wedding in Provo. So I remember texting you and being like,
Yeah, I remember this
hey, let
too.
me, like, I'm doing nothing. I'll just drive it to Provo for you so you can continue to work on thirst.
Yeah.
And then just talking with Lisa. Lisa's a genius. She's so smart. And seeing, like,
Lisa
her
from
giving
Thirst.
me feedback on what she thinks, how she thinks thirst could improve. And me going, like, have you ever talked to Ethan about that? No.
Yeah. I think do you feel like you think it's interesting I think it's interesting how many decisions are made, and I wonder if it's like this. It must be for other entrepreneurs or businesses at the top. Like, you and I'd say, or at this point, I'm really just making the decisions for the company. There's not a specified way to make all these decisions. Like, is Coca-Cola deciding something on a whim like the way we do? Obviously, probably not. But like, people think that. I feel like the conception is like there's more that goes into some of the decisions that we make, but ultimately it's like we're just doing our best, and our guess is as good as yours, but we're just doing it out here.
I think, like, everything that you know as far as running. So, like you said, I ran a couple businesses. I had an ice cream shop. And honestly, my ice cream shop I ran perfectly. But I didn't market like you market, right? So I was making no money, but I was still profiting because just how I run things and how I'm able to put in effort. But I was never growing. That's what the frustrating part was. So, like, being able to combine everything I know with everything that you know, I feel like has really propelled us. Everything that I have questions about, I can go to you and be like, what do you think? And you can give me a great answer.
And it's just like, it's important part of the puzzle, I think, that I'm currently learning in business is there's multiple pieces that you have to have down to get to this next level. Because me and Dillon and all of our admin talk about it a lot. Like, we're trying to take this over the next year to the next level. And physically with width, we are. Like, you don't see a lot of, small businesses go. They're usually either in the 1 to 4 location range or a ton of locations. Like, you don't really hover in there that much because I think you either make it or you don't. And we feel like we're really in that bubble, and so we're just absolutely sending it. And good to have you on the team.
Yeah, it's been
Anything
a lot of
else?
Nope.
Anything else you can drop for him? Give him a little piece of advice for 2 more minutes.
Well,
I'll tell you what he's doing for my company right now. You are educating my team on how to build management, hold people accountable, and run a clean, crisp, profitable store. Said this a couple times. If I knew how to manage labor, mostly just labor, but labor and cost of goods, if I was doing what you were doing at your ice cream shop from the start, then I would be rich right now, dude. I'd be completely rich. And you'd be rich if you were doing that plus the marketing.
Yeah,
so it takes both pieces.
Yeah.
But what are you doing right now in Thirst that were some pieces that you feel like you're really bringing to the puzzle as far as those management and structure?
The hard thing about everything food industry right now is staffing. We are just having, there's a shortage of people, which is weird to go from such a high unemployment rate to, we can't get enough applicants now.
Do you feel like when you were in the food industry before it was easier?
It depends where you are. St. George is so easy, but Salt Lake, it wasn't this hard.
Yeah.
It wasn't this hard. So basically what we need to do is make our job as fun as being at home. Like, people look at working from home like the greatest gig in the world. How lonely is that? Right? Don't you want to come to a place where there's tons of people working together? You build friendships right off the bat.
Here's a question then. How do you do that? Because I feel like I've put that on a pedestal, but I've taken it too far sometimes where it becomes relaxed and becomes less about the customer.
Yeah.
How do you balance the two? Like, make people want to like their jobs, but also be like having them work hard and providing a good experience.
So when you play high school sports or anything, right, you don't have fun losing. And when you have a day when everyone's waiting 30 minutes, you're losing. Yeah. Right? But when you can play as a team and, let's say you're playing basketball and all 5 players are just vibing with each other, there's no greater game. You're still running a ton. You're exhausted. You're sweating, but you're winning. Yeah. And it feels good.
Yeah, so they're excited about the wins.
Absolutely.
Right? They're excited about the business. I feel like what Dill has showed is exemplifying that we are trying to double down on is something that we've always said for forever here is positivity is infectious. I feel like positivity and now hard work and staying on top of everything and staying in structure, that's becoming infectious and fun. Mm-hmm. If he's teaching our managers to be more hands-on and let corporate handle more of the admin tasks, so that, in my opinion, this is how I interpret it, so that they can infect the rest of their team with this hustle and this drive and motivation and excitement for a lot of business while still having fun in the kitchen. Like, AKA, I think what we're doing now more is having the leaders in there to set the tone. Like, we had a lack of leadership and structure and just knowledge on my part that we need more present management and can't just leave it up to people that don't know necessarily what the tone should be to set the tone. So Dillon's coming in, like right now he's our acting area manager, and he's able to focus on being the area manager and set that tone in these stores. And it wasn't a training, it wasn't like something I needed to tell these managers. It was just more presence and tone, I think, is a lot of what the answer is. He's trying to teach our GMs to do that at the stores. He's now being that presence and tone as the area manager for the GMs. But I think it's important. It's something I'm learning right now is presence from management, setting the tone like you just said is the solution is big time.
Yep. Just trying to get people excited about going back to work, because people have definitely been excited about going and ordering food again, right? Like sales in every industry. Like Jimmy John's, the last store I was at, we were growing 40%, just consistently growing.
Everyone's pumped.
Everyone's hungry.
Yeah.
They don't want to, like, people are sick of being inside except for working, which is interesting. So I feel like we're creating a culture that's winning. People are going to start seeing it. We're going to start getting real champions that want to be a part of the growth.
Yep.
And then that's when we're going to just explode.
Yep. If you're listening to this or if you're watching this, this is a no-brainer. Is this the one, T? This is a no-brainer. You're going to want to follow along with me and my team, because you won't, if you knew us closely, like the people that know us closely, we are giving it all we got. And I think all of us got some skills, and combined, we're about to blow this crap up. And I'm pumped to have Dillon here to do it.
If you think you're a champion in any industry, whether it's like sales or just hospitality, whatever it is, if you think you're a champion, come talk to us.
Absolutely. We want you on the team.